You can't steal something, track down the folks you stole from, and then when they try to take it back, you want to get into a fight with them to get it back from them. You can't fight somebody about something you stole. But her voice, it ain't do nothing to me. Like, I wasn't scared of the voice. It wasn't menacing. These 2022 Cenobites are not what nightmares are made of. What's up? It's Nikki. Welcome back to my channel, King Nikki TV, where I give you commentary on popular movies and TV shows. In this video, I will be recapping the new Hellraiser movie. Now, I am a huge fan of the original 1987, I think it was 87, Hellraiser, and I actually like the sequel, the rest of them in the franchise. Okay, you know what? I can't really talk about. Now, they are saying that this Hellraiser is not a remake. It's not as part of the, like sequel. It doesn't follow the previous events. This is a reimagining of Clive Barker's Hellraiser. Now, this Hellraiser is about a young girl struggling with addiction who ends up coming across the ancient puzzle box that summons the Cenobites. Now, I will say, I was kind of confused on like the allure of the puzzle box in this movie. I completely get Frank motivation with this box, and even Voight in this movie motivation with the box, because they knew what the box was and they were trying to get a certain thing. But at the very beginning of Hellraiser, we have a sex worker who looks like he should be on the cover of a magazine, child. He looked like a model. Come into a room and he sees the puzzle box sitting there. Honestly, I wouldn't pay no attention to that little thing. Like, nothing about it razzle or dazzles or would catch my eye. But he just went straight to the puzzle box. And I'm just kind of like, why would you do that? And then our main protagonist girl, let me not call her main protagonist girl. What was... Let me see what her name was. Riley. Riley also seemed to be like possessed and all just into this box, which I get more into that later. But I was like, I'm not understanding the allure. It felt like some type of supernatural pull to the box, but I don't know nothing about this box having no supernatural pull, but that's just what it felt like to me. Now, when the movie opens up, like I said, we get like this little sex dungeon party going on. This sex worker goes into a room looking for Voight, who he comes across this puzzle box, which he gets mesmerized by. Voight walks in and he tells him, the kid asks what is it, and he tells him this is a puzzle box. If you solve the puzzle, I get a prize. So the kid is just going through trying to solve the little box. Now, the puzzle box in this Hellraiser is different, and it pops out something that cuts you, and once the box gets your blood, it kind of marks you for the Cenobites to come and get you. Now, the holder of the box, when it reaches its last configuration, you get a prize. Now, fast forward 6 years, I think they fast forwarded. We're introduced to Riley, recovering drug addict, and she's living with her brother, his boyfriend, and their roommate. Now, let's get into the allure of this puzzle box. Riley, like I said, is a recovering drug addict. She doesn't really have much money. Her brother is kind of acting like a parent figure, even though he's just kind of being protective. I mean, she is a recovering drug addict, and you kind of gotta, I guess, micromanage never works out well when you're trying to micromanage any living being, but I get why he feels like, because y'all, Riley, baby was a mess. And she needed somebody to micromanage her, and he didn't like the boyfriend that she was hanging with. Now, the boyfriend, what was the boyfriend's name? Trevor. He was like, well, what kind of guy is trying to date a woman that's in like NA? I think she was in NA, or was she in AA? Because he said something about her drinking. She might have been in NA and AA, Alcoholic Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. But he pretty much thought that Trevor was kind of shifty. He didn't think that it was a good idea for her to be mixed up with him, which brother was right. was more right than he knew. Now, Riley ends up going over to Trevor's house. She's talking about how she needs money. She's sick of just, being broke. And Trevor comes up with the bright idea of, hey, it's this place. I used to do deliveries. It was a bunch of rich folk. Let's break in and see what they left up in there. Now, Riley... she was more of a scrub than Trevor was, in my opinion. Like, the brother was thinking Trevor was kind of shifty. Y'all, okay, first of all, this protagonist, Riley, was the most annoying, just unlikable protagonist I feel like I have experienced since Wish Upon. I thought that was a terrible protagonist. I didn't care nothing about this girl. She made the worst decision. She was a-hole, in my opinion. She just was the downfall of everybody around her, child. Now, they end up breaking into this safe, and the only thing in the safe is the puzzle box. And again, I need money. Why do I give a about this puzzle box? If I break into someplace for the purpose of I'm sick of being broke and I'm trying to get money, see what these rich folk that left up in here, and I open the safe and it is nothing but this bland, because it's not like it's bejeweled or anything. It's just this stupid little puzzle box sitting in this safe. I would have threw that box across the room and be like, matter of fact, I might not even have touched it. I'd be like, man, baby, we broke in here for this? I would have been looking at that safe like, baby, ain't nothing else in here. I would not have cared. But it was kind of like she was mesmerized. She was all like, well, if you don't want it, I'll hold on to it. And I'm just sitting here like, who gives a ish about this puzzle box? It was very confusing for me. I did not understand Riley's motivation of wanting this puzzle box. That's why I felt like it must have been some type of supernatural pull making her want to possess this box, own this box. It just did not make any sense. You said you're sick of being broke. How is this box going to take you from your brokenness? So they come up with a plan where Trevor's like, okay, you hold on to it and I'll try to see if we can, get a broker or somebody who can, kind of like, I guess, pawn it off or whatever, see if it's worth something. Baby, I don't know if I just ain't got a sophisticated eye, but I wouldn't think that thing is worth 5 cents. Like, I would not look at that box and say, oh, this must be worth something. And I get it. Maybe they're like, oh, well, rich folk put this in the safe. That must mean it's worth something. But I still would have just been like, no, rich folk are weird. I don't know what they was into because this box looks stupid. I don't know. That's how I felt. Now, more of her being stupid and more of me feeling like this box had a supernatural pull. Now, Riley comes home intoxicated. Her brother kicks her out, tell her she got to move out. She leaves and I'm homeless now. And she grabs the puzzle box to go sit in the park and just enjoy her high and mess with the puzzle box. Again, who gives a ish about this puzzle box? I'm homeless. I just got into a fight with my brother. I'm sleeping in my car. If I'm grabbing anything, I ain't grabbing the puzzle box. Again, it just ain't make sense. So she dillies around with the puzzle box, but she's high. She ends up doing a little configuration, but she doesn't cut herself, which I felt like all the time she messed with this puzzle box and she ain't cut herself. It just felt so convenient and so contrived. So she is high, laying out in the park. Her brother goes looking for her. Fast forward, he, of course, so conveniently cuts himself on the box, which she's passed out like she's overdosing or high or whatever out of her mind. The box is just sitting next to her. It's not like it's a freaking gun or something dangerous. I would not have cared he picks it up to like toss it off. Who cares? I would have been focused on my sister sitting here high on drugs, maybe overdosing. I wouldn't have cared about a benign object that does not look dangerous in the slightest just sitting next to her. Like, I would not. Why did he pick it up and toss it? But of course, so conveniently and so contrived, he gets cut and the Cenobites come and take him away. Riley comes to cops, or not the cops, the ambulance is there. She don't know what happened because baby was high out of her mind. Now, she ends up going to Trevor and saying, we need to track down some info about this box because she feel like it'll lead her so she can get her brother. So fast forward, we come across Voight's lawyer, who is in some type of medical facility because she's dying, she has problems with her lungs, etc. And this ain't make no sense. She talking to the lawyer lady and she shows her the box and the lawyer picks up the box. Trevor is out of the room. The lawyer picks up the box and she's like, the only thing I can do to help you, I take the box. Baby, hold on now, Riley. You stole this box. This don't belong to you. You stole it. You tried to track down folks you stole it from. Baby, why Riley gets into a tussle and a fight because she trying to take the box back from the lady? How are you fighting over something you stole? I was looking at this like, girl, what is wrong with you? Like, it did not make a lick a bit of sense. You can't steal something, track down the folks you stole from, and then when they try to take it back, you want to get into a fight with them to get it back from them. You can't fight somebody about something you stole. This ain't your girl. This don't belong to you. You stole it. Y'all, it really just did not make any sense in the slightest to fight over something. But that's why I kept feeling like it must be some type of supernatural pull. And they were trying to make it where the message to the audience was she was so gung-ho about holding on to the box because she thought it would lead her to her brother. But no, I'm not buying it. Like, it just was, she was going way too far. The lady, of course, conveniently gets her hand cut as they're tussling and fighting over the little box, the pug, which is now not just shaped like a box because, you know, it goes into different configurations. Of course, everybody around Riley is getting cut with the box and getting taken by the Cenobites except Riley. It just felt too convenient. Now, the boyfriend comes in after the lady is cut and he's like, what the heck happened? What is going on? Fast forward, we get to his apartment. Riley is going on about the box and he tries to swipe the box while she's not looking and run out. Y'all, the way she flipped out on him when he took the box, baby, we at my house. First of all, you can't yell at me when we at my spot. But the way she flipped out over him taking the box, the way she flipped out over the lawyer taking the box, when baby, this is something you stole. It just did not make sense to me that she was just so, y'all, I don't know. Tell me in the comments if I missed something, if I didn't interpret something. I did not get why she was just so gung-ho about holding on to the, she was acting like that little thing in the Ring movies with the, not the Ring movies, the Lord of the Ring movies, with that little ring, my precious. That's how she was acting with this box, like my precious. It just did not make any sense at all to me. Now, fast forward, she looks up Voight, finds his mansion, she goes there. Now, y'all, when I tell you, the movie was pretty predictable, but they threw in a twist that I enjoyed, but I saw coming. And the twist was that her boyfriend Trevor was in on, well, it was two twists. Both twists you could see coming. Voight was missing and I guess presumed dead, but he was still alive just in his mansion, child. And I feel like that was just so typical. Like, you should have saw that coming a mile away. I didn't really care for that one, but the other twist was that her boyfriend Trevor was involved and led her to the box and kind of, you know, did all this, which I enjoyed that twist, but I did see that coming as well. Because when they're at his apartment and she is talking, going on about this box being crazy, because, you know, that's how her brother's boyfriend and everybody's looking at her when she's talking about this box. She tries to hand it to him. His reaction when she tries to hand them that box, I was like, nah, baby, he know about this box. He know about this box, because who would have such a reaction backing off like, I'm not touching. And he was just trying to say, you know, he believes her. Nah, that was too strong of a reaction. I said, nah, he in on this. Nah, he in on this. And then it was confirmed when she goes to Voight's mansion and Trevor shows up with the brother's boyfriend and the roommate. I said, why he brought them here? They was safe where they was. I said, oh yeah, he definitely in on this. Even though his reaction to the box kind of sealed the deal, but when he brought the two friends to the mansion, I said, oh yeah. He led her to the puzzle box. His reaction to when she tried to, hand him the box and bringing the friends, I said, yeah, child, he in on this. He in on this, and it's just bright red flashing lights over him saying, it's him. Now, Voight is alive in the mansion, and Riley puts the puzzle box down or something. Voight gets it. We don't know nobody in the mansion. And the girl who was the roommate of her brother and her brother's boyfriend, he stabs her with the puzzle box so the Cenobites can get her. And fast forward, we running off. And this ain't made no sense either. They come to the mansion, trying to get Riley to leave. She don't want to leave. She like, no, I'm here for a reason. But then the girl is attacked, and suddenly Riley is gone cold, and we got to get out of here. And I get it. The girl is hurt. We need to go get her help. But I don't know. The mood switch, why you ain't sending them to go and you stay? Because you was just gung-ho about you here for a reason, but all of a sudden it was, we got to get out of here. And it wasn't just, we got to get out of here and get this girl help. It was like, we got to get out of here. We got to get away from here. Let's run. Let's go. And I'm just like, but baby, how did Riley just switch like that? I don't know. It ain't make sense to me. So the girl gets taken by the Cenobites, which this ain't make sense. We're all in a van, right? Trevor driving the van, Riley's in the passenger side, the girl who is now marked, and the boyfriend of the brother is in the back of the van, and he looking forward while the girl she lifted in the air, all kind of stuff happening. Baby, who ain't got peripherals? Why you ain't got peripherals? Who ain't just look your head back? I don't know. It just ain't make sense to me that stuff was happening and we ain't know till the last second. So she kind of disappears. We get out of the van and we're calling for her. Did y'all see the van door open? Did y'all hear her jump out the back? Like, why are we calling for her? I don't know. It don't make no sense. So Riley is just still being stupid, doing dumb stuff. Tell me why Riley runs off away from the two guys. Like, girl, what are you doing? Nothing she did said plan. Nothing she did said this is logical or makes sense. Or I don't know. She just kept doing stuff that ain't make no freaking sense to me. She runs off from them. When we get to the mansion, it's this button you press that closes the house like a cage, and it keeps the Cenobites out. And Voight shows himself, stabs the boyfriend, so the brother's boyfriend, so that he can be marked, and he closes the cage to lock the Cenobites which stopped them from getting to the boy. And he's like, I built a cage. But tell me why Riley opens the cage, which made sense for her trying to get Voight got, but it's like she had no plan when she opened the cage to save her brother's boyfriend from when that was the only thing stopping the Cenobites from getting him. And we see her just walking. And the boy starts screaming, and she kind of speed walked. But I'm like, baby, you need to be in a run. You should have had a plan to get to him before the Cenobites. I don't know. It just ain't make any sense to me. She was literally just walking when she let the cage open and the Cenobites could go and get the boy. She just is walking. And it made no sense in the slightest. Now, I will say the effects and technical aspect of this, in my opinion, I thought it was great. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it visually, but the characters and the dialogue was extremely lacking, in my opinion. I did not care about none of these characters in the slightest. Trevor was tolerable. He was cool. Voight was decent, but we really don't get much of him in the movie. But like I said, Riley is literally, for me, the worst protagonist I have followed in a movie since Wish Upon. I could not stand Riley. It wasn't just me. I ain't connect. I ain't like the character. Like, just nothing. I just didn't understand nothing she was doing. It was really convenient to me that everybody got to get hurt or die or taken by the Cenobites except her, who was the one messing around with the stupid puzzle box. I don't know. I just really did not care for her. Every single character is just bland as unseasoned chicken. Like, I wasn't into it. And I feel like if you don't care about the characters, there are really no stakes. Like, it's like when you watch a slasher and you just waiting for the death scenes. Like, you just want to see people die. Like, that's kind of how this movie felt to me. Like, okay, let me just see folks die because I don't care about nobody. Just give me some cool deaths. Like, that's really how it felt. And that's fine. Honestly, I can enjoy movies where I'm just hyped up on the excitement of it and watching folks die and seeing what kind of cool death scenes we will have. But in a movie like that, where I'm not tied to the characters and I don't really care who survives or who dies, and I'm just here to see death scenes, it needs to be a fun, exciting, thrilling type of scenario and movie. And I did not feel like this was. Honestly, I was very bored until the final act. I actually enjoyed the final act. But before that, it was just bland. I don't know. That's how I felt. There was no real tension. There was no real sense of dread or doom. Nothing. None of the threats felt very menacing. I don't know. I wasn't into it. And you know what? And when I think about it, Trevor is a scrub who is a petty criminal, but he lived in like this huge, nice, was that a loft or apartment? Because I be getting confused on loft versus apartment. But he lived in this really nice place, which I guess you could say it was on Voight's dime, but it ain't made no sense to me. I mean, like, if I'm Riley, he led me to the box. The way he reacted when I was trying to give him the box. He supposed to be a little scrub, but he living in this nice behind place. Okay, whatever. But I watched this movie like 3 times before doing this review because I was really trying to just like it. And I just kept trying to go back, like, because I do feel that way. I don't know. Is it just me, y'all? But sometimes I'll watch a movie on the first watch. I won't care for it, but I'll like it a lot more on rewatch. Yeah, that didn't happen. The same stuff I couldn't stand, I just couldn't stand on all 3 watches. And the same stuff that I enjoyed on all 3 watches. Like, nothing really changed. The movie for me, I love the original Hellraiser, but I feel like I am very good when it comes to stuff like this at separating them. And I never expect anything to live up to the original. That should never be an argument, in my opinion. The original is the original is the original. Especially when there's like a certain nostalgia or love, when you are really a fan of something. I never expect anything to be the original. It just doesn't happen. It's like Terminator franchise. Nothing is going to be T1 and T2, but I enjoy the franchise. It's enjoyable. So it's not even that I'm comparing this to the original Hellraiser as a standalone movie. It's pretty mediocre, in my opinion. It's pretty mediocre. There's no heart. There's no grit. There's no magic. There's no thrills. It's not disturbing. Like, it's not as unsettling as I thought it would be, as I was hoping it would be. It doesn't push boundaries like I was hoping and expecting it. It felt very reserved, and I wanted them to really go there with a premise and idea like Hellraiser. And I will say, what was the girl name? Do I have it in my notes? Nora. Nora is the roommate that I said Voight stabbed when they were in the mansion and they ran out trying to, when she got hurt and we ran out to the van and we was all like, we got to leave the mansion. I will say Nora's death scene, it felt sad. It really felt sad to me. And I will say it was a bit... you know what? No, I won't say it was even a bit unsettling. It was just sad because she really had nothing to do with nothing on nothing, no nothing. She didn't know anything about anything, and she just got stabbed and got caught up in this. So the scene felt sad. She was just an unsuspecting person in this. You know what I mean? Because Riley really wasn't making sense when she was talking to them about the box. They really didn't believe her about it. So that scene felt sad. It was cool. Like, as just a fan of horror and stuff like that. Like, the scene felt cool, but nothing was, I don't know. I expected this to push boundaries, and it just didn't. Yeah, it just didn't. And I will also say, I enjoy the new box, but having it set where the Cenobites are kind of like when Voight stabs Nora and he kind of sicks the Cenobites on her, that is an aspect that I really didn't care for. Frank from the original and Voight are like seeking something, right? The exploration of pleasure and pain, being synonymous, which I felt was lost in this Hellraiser. There was no exploration of like human nature and seeking these sensations and pain being pleasure and pleasure being pain and all of that going together. I don't know, Nora and the lawyer and the brother, they weren't seeking anything. It was kind of like the final act, which I did enjoy, had a very slasher feel to it. It was like the Cenobites were Michael Myers going after them. There was no... I just hate that we did not have that pain is pleasure, ascending to new levels of sensation, type of thing. My interpretation of the original Hellraiser, the humans were evil, not the Cenobites. Did I misread that in the original movies? Because the only murders that happened in the original Hellraiser is Frank and old girl murdering those guys so that he could regenerate from what the Cenobites did to him. So I feel like now in this 2022 Hellraiser, the Cenobites feel like the evil party in this story. We were missing the psychological element, the human nature, pain, pleasure, sensation seeking element, and I feel like that really took away from the story. And I completely get this is a reimagining, they're doing their own thing, but I didn't like that. I wanted something much more darker and disturbing as far as the human aspect and the human nature aspect. And you know what pops in my mind when I think of disturbing? I think of the, spoiler alert, I guess, if you've never seen the original Hellraiser. I think of the original Hellraiser at the end when the Cenobites finally come get Frank and they're tearing him up with them little hooks in his skin. Which, y'all, going back to watch Hellraiser, that skin looks so fake. But anyway, when they're tearing his face apart and he freaking looks at his niece and licks his lips, like, that's so freaky, creepy, disturbing, unsettling. Like, I love that. And I did not get any of that in this movie. Like, that's what I was kind of seeking from this movie. I really think, I remember... I was so obsessed with Hellraiser when I was a kid, and that scene it stuck with me, and I always thought that was just the freakiest thing I ever saw in my life. I definitely wanted more gore in this movie. I definitely wanted it to be just a lot more disturbing and unsettling. And it's like... But I honestly feel like with a different protagonist, I could have enjoyed this movie a lot more than I did. It is really hard, in my personal opinion, to enjoy something when I just really extremely do not like the main person that I see on screen. Now, like I said, once we get to the ending sequence, when we run out of the house, when Nora is hurt and we get to the van, it gave me slasher movie vibes, but I actually started enjoying the movie once we got there. That's where I was like really immersed in the movie. Hellraiser, the original 1987, when I think of that movie, because obviously I wasn't I was like 1 year old when it came out. So I didn't see it until a kid in the 90s. But when I think about movies that I did not see during its release, like The Thing, Hellraiser, even The Exorcist, which I think is a very overrated movie. It's not that great. It's like, it's a decent movie. But the way people talk about it, but when I think of movies like that, I think about how disturbing it must have been for audiences at that time to have those type of boundaries crossed and pushed. I don't know. I just really feel like, even though for me, all the hype I heard about The Exorcist when I was a kid and then I finally saw it, even though I didn't live up to that, I think about, I can get in that time how that movie must have shocked and disturbed audiences. Like, I get that. And I guess that's what I was expecting to experience with Hellraiser 2022. Like, I wanted that ish to really push boundaries. Man, it didn't. Not a one. Now, like I said, I really enjoyed the new puzzle box design, and I actually enjoyed the Cenobites, like how they looked. Now, I will say, initially, I really did not like the new Pinhead priestess lady. Like, I just really didn't. I just feel like the original Pinhead, nothing lives up to that. He just was so, I just really love his voice, the way he played the character, and how disturbing he felt, like his presence felt. But I will say the young lady who plays the new Pinhead, she pretty much had an impossible task. It's like nothing. It's like trying to come behind freaking Whitney Houston and sing. You know what I mean? Like, you pretty much have an impossible task, but I think she should be proud of what she did. And I actually enjoyed her a lot more on rewatch, because I just felt like that original Pinhead is just so like, I was so obsessed with Hellraiser as a kid. So like, nothing's going to live up to that original experience and that original just the nostalgia of it. But I actually really enjoyed her. The design of the Cenobites was great, but yo, where was that fat worm like Cenobite from the 1987? They didn't have him. I was like, hold on, baby, what is he? I don't know. That was my favorite. Now, I will say I really enjoyed all of the Cenobites design, how everyone looked, the priestess and all the Cenobites. I enjoyed how they looked, but none of them, I don't know. We didn't really get enough of their presence, in my humble opinion. I wanted more of them in the movie. And I feel like the first original reveal of the Cenobites in the 1987, and I know I said I wasn't comparing, but I guess I'm just saying, the original reveal of the Cenobites in the 1987 Hellraiser, I feel like it was such a shock and awe, and just like I didn't get that when we were first introduced to the Cenobites in this one. I enjoy how they look, but something about their presence didn't disturb me. It wasn't scary. I don't know. And it's hard for me to really say how I really feel, because I enjoy how they look. I enjoy the Cenobites in this movie. It just wasn't on the level of menacing and creepy that the feel that I wanted it to be. And the priestess voice was, I feel like she could, I don't know, I wish that maybe, and I get maybe she can't do whatever with her voice to make it sound, but maybe we could put some effect on it. I don't know, no. Maybe she could have worked with a voice, because when you do like voice acting, you learn how to like do stuff with your voice. Maybe she could have worked with like a voice coach. I don't know, but her voice, it ain't do nothing to me. Like, I wasn't scared of the voice. It wasn't menacing. These 2022 Cenobites are not what nightmares are made of. Like, I don't know. It just ain't go there. Like, I needed it to. I want to see the Cenobites. Like, I want them to take us to hell. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm morbid. Now, one thing I did not understand was the matching Voight was in. It's the same mansion he was in 6 years prior, right? When he had the little sex party, because we can see it's the same. He presses the button, the little things close. But when he says, I built a prison, how long did he know the Cenobites? Because how long did construction take to build this little thing? And the Cenobites just pop up in places. They don't ring the doorbell. So I didn't understand, y'all, what was I missing? How were they kept out of the mansion with the little cage he built? Which I don't know how he had time to build the cage, because maybe how long did he know the Cenobites? Whatever. But why did that keep them out? Was it something supernatural type of material that it was made of? I don't know. I don't get why they didn't just... It was like they made it seem like the Cenobites needed to walk through the door, but they don't walk through doors. They just appear inside. Like the little chains just come from just somewhere. Like, I don't get how that kept them out. Y'all, what am I missing? Now, something else I did not understand, when we get to the final act of the movie, when we get to that little ending sequence, and Riley, like I said, made the dumb decision to just run off from Trevor and her brother's boyfriend, she cuts herself on the box. And I don't get why the chains didn't just come out of the sky and grab her. They go on a chase for her, and she stabs a Cenobite who ends up getting taken away, but it already marked her. It had her blood. Why didn't it just get her? I'm not understanding. When her brother was stabbed, they just got him. When the lawyer was stabbed, they just got him. When Nora was stabbed, they just got her. So why didn't we just get Riley? I didn't understand that. But anyway, we get to the ending sequence, and we are running from the Cenobites when Riley gets stabbed. She stabs another Cenobite. They get him instead. We all run in the mansion. We close the little gate so that the Cenobites can't come in. Riley makes the plan to, hey, it worked on one Cenobite, maybe it'll work on another. Let's just let one in, which they do. She runs. Of course, conveniently, she drops the box as she runs, because the writers don't know how to make a movie if characters don't just have these convenient, stupid things happen. And of course, Voight gets the box when she drops it, which this ain't make sense to me. He was doing all of this because they gave him, you get, like I said, a prize, but it ain't really the one you really want or was expecting or whatever. And it has this little configuration all in his chest and back that kind of like pulls and do all this weird stuff. But it did not make sense to me. He basically worked with Trevor to lure someone to the box, but I didn't understand. Now I have the box. If she hadn't conveniently dropped it, set it down, how would Voight have gotten the box? Like, what was his plan for that? If Riley never conveniently set the box down, dropped the box, which helped him to stab Nora, which helped him to stab the brother's boyfriend, and have it in his hands for the last configuration so that he could get an audience, be granted, an audience or whatever with the Cenobites, what was his plan for this to happen? If you're luring someone else to the box and now they're the owner, how are you supposed to get it? And see, that's why some of the stuff that it just feels so contrived and convenient kind of annoys me, because how were we supposed to get from point A to point B if those convenient things did not happen? But anyway, he has the little things locked in their little prison. And the brother's boyfriend is saved because they chased after him, but Voight closed the prison down, which of course he ain't care about saving the boy. The boy just happened to get saved when part of his plan. And he pretty much traps them because he tells the priestess, tell your God, I have his priestess, I have y'all locked. He's pretty much trying to force them to undo. And she's like, you don't appreciate the gift we gave you, bro? Like, gifts cannot be taken back. And while all this is going on, Riley is in the background plotting and scheming and planning, and fast forward, she gets the box, she opens the case to let the Cenobites out. They go after the brother's boyfriend. She ends up coming in and trying to save them, and she stabs Trevor instead. But I don't know. I enjoyed the final sequence, but I feel like it could have ended in a much better way. But look, it was the best part of the movie in my humble opinion. Overall, I would give Hellraiser a 4.5 out of 10. It's not quite on the level of enjoyment of just a typical average movie, which for me, a typical average movie and typical enjoyable average movie is a solid 5 out of 10. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 10 because the beginning was just so unenjoyable to me, but I did enjoy a lot of aspects along the way, and I did enjoy the final act. Look. Overall, I'm happy we got a Hellraiser movie. I thoroughly enjoyed just the world of Hellraiser, and I thoroughly enjoy seeing a new take on that world. I really do. I enjoy the Priestess and the Cenobites. The 2022 Cenobites is not what I need them to be, but I enjoy them. And it's very hard to give critiques like that because it's like I enjoy it, but I wanted more from it. I just really wish they would have pushed the boundaries and pushed the envelope like I was expecting them to. Like I feel you would do in the universe of Hellraiser. But overall, I definitely think it was worth the watch. I definitely feel like it is definitely not a terrible movie. It is definitely not like the worst thing you're going to see this year, baby. I done seen worse this year. Cough, cough, Grim Cuddy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.